Well, welcome families. I really appreciate you guys showing up tonight. It's been a weird, strange, long 18 months. I have 3 daughters, so I know having them out of the house after 18 months has been a beautiful thing. So I hope the school year has started off well for all of you. I am Mr. Keefe, Coach Keefe, they call me. I am your son or daughter's PE teacher. Miss Kearley is your son or daughter's math teacher. Mr. Ornario is a resource specialist. Miss Biardo, English teacher. Mr. Brucolo, history teacher. Miss Salazar Diaz, Espanol. And Miss Bailey will be showing up later. She is our science teacher. Would you like to start the admin video, Miss Gallardo?
I can do it if you want.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. Oops, let me just back that up 1 second. Didn't do the sound thing like I was gonna do. All right, here we go. All right, let's check out this video from our administrators welcoming everyone back to school.
Hello, LGAM family. This is Miss Muhammad, your principal. Welcome to Back to School Night. Actually, welcome to 2021. Lovely, great new year. We are so happy to have you guys here this year. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You know what? You matter to us. Your voice matters. Your life matters. Everything about you matters. We want you to know that, to live that, and to embody that every day when you're walking on our campus. Again, welcome to Back to School Night.
Hi Wolfpack, it's Miss Ruiz. I'm one of the assistant principals. Welcome to Back to School Night. We're so excited to have you here virtually. Today you're going to get a chance to hear from your teachers. You're going to hear a little bit about classroom expectations, how to check your grades, how to submit your work. Make sure you're asking a lot of questions and taking good notes. This is your opportunity to connect with your teachers. We're so excited to have you here.
Good evening, LGAM families, and welcome to Back to School Night. My name is Miss Hazlett, your assistant principal, and we're happy to have you here tonight virtually. You probably have seen me on Class Dojo and also on Infinite Campus. Please feel free to connect with us to get updates on Dojo and Infinite Campus on a weekly basis. You can also put a comment below if you have any questions or need assistance with anything. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you throughout the new year. And remember, you all matter.
Hi everyone, I am Miss Garcia. I'm the academic counselor for 7th and 8th grade. I am available for academic check-ins with students to discuss grades, set goals, and help with organization. I can also meet with students for social emotional reasons as well. We will be starting an after-school tutoring program soon with San Diego State, where we have San Diego State students who are in the teacher education program come to our campus and offer after-school tutoring to our students. This is a free program. If you would like to sign up your student, you can email me at agarcia@lemongrovesd.net, or you can also find me on Class Dojo as well. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Ms. Naranjo or Miss Ann. I'm the temporary school social worker filling in for Miss Jefferson. My role here at school is to support students in their personal, social, emotional, and academic development. That can look like either having me or one of the social worker interns from SDSU checking in on students, just making sure they have what they need to succeed and learn. We are also here to support the families in finding resources that are needed. So you can always call us for support.
Right. And so let's stop the share just for a second to regroup if everyone wants to. All right, thanks. That was a great video from our admin and our school support staff. Without further ado, is there anything going on in the chat or anything yet that we need to take note of before I start the presentation? So no? Okay.
Everything looking good. Families, if you do have a question, you are welcome to drop us something into the chat box. We will also have a Q&A session at the end. So if you do have any general questions, we'd be happy to stick around and answer any questions that you might have. And again, welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you for spending your Wednesday evening with us.
Welcome, Miss Bailey.
Woo woo.
Hi, sorry, forgive my tardiness. I have a son in guitar lessons. I had to run there.
Anyway,
Okay, I'm all good. Thank
I'm
you.
quickly going to be just briefly going over some of classroom and campus guidelines. And then following that, all of the teachers will be kind of going over our classroom expectations, rules, makeups, work, and all those routine good stuff. And again, every time someone shares my Zoom,
Sorry.
my screen goes black. No, there's nothing you can do about it.
Oops. All right. You want to talk about that, Coach? First, good evening, and need Zoom
Yeah, I think
protocol.
we've touched most of that. If you want to go down just to the campus guidelines, the Wolfpack Way stuff, I really
Gotcha.
don't want to
Bam.
bore them too much by reading this, but this is just kind of the Wolfpack Way. We all have this in our classrooms posted, and some of the things that are important will be the attendance each day. Being on time and coming prepared to learn every day is a big responsibility, and I've already seen it in my homeroom. Some of the kids are having a little bit of difficulty getting here by 8:20, so I'm sure it's a change after being home, some of them, for 18 months. Homework completed on time, eating a good breakfast, and being well rested, which we do provide breakfast every morning here. Electronics and toys kept at home. Cell phones on silent and kept on a backpack. The first week, that was a rough one, but the kids have been much better this week on that for sure. I will respect the rights of everyone in the classroom, including the teacher. I will stay focused and I will listen attentively. I will use proper language, be respectful, use encouraging words, address adults and peers appropriately. And one thing I'm a big proponent of is every teacher on this campus is their teacher, or every adult is. So if your student is jogging in the hallways, heading to class, another teacher says, hey, please slow down. The comment shouldn't be, well, you're not my teacher. So everyone's here for your child. Keep hands, feet, and objects to yourself. Use your words and calm voices to settle disagreements. Be a problem solver. I will follow directions the first time given. I will have integrity, be responsible for my belongings, and return items to the correct staff member if items do not belong to me. That's already happened in the boys' locker room quite a few times. I will be honest and communicate my feelings respectfully. I will take the time to study well to prepare important assignments and tests, and I will ask questions when needed to gain a better understanding. I will follow the dress code. This is the time of year where it's tough. I know I have 3 daughters, 2 are in high school, so they don't really make too many shorts for young ladies that are, you know, cute and hip and in, that go down to their knees. So I know that's a battle with me and my wife as well. Boys in tank tops, etc. I wear my mask when indoors. I will strive for excellence in everything that I do. I will be a leader. We are one. We are the pack, the Wolfpack Way.
Okay.
You want to just click on the link there.
Yep. Yep.
All right, now to the engine that runs our school, which is the PE program.
Wow.
And I say that with all honesty and no disrespect to any other teacher. So this was the first year in my 23 years of teaching that we had to actually get every student in this school dressed out for the very first time. Last time we were here in the spring, your child didn't even have a locker, and we pretty much said, if you want to dress out, you can, even though some kids did. They only had PE once a week. So every student in the school, 500 of them, received their own personal locker in the locker room, a combination lock. And we were pretty surprised. We're probably down to like 2 or 3 students that have not yet opened their lock, but most of those students are the ones that were gone or away for a couple of weeks. So, so far so good in the locker room. Every child has their PE clothes, and now we're just kind of getting them used to being physical, which is not easy this time of year when it's a little warm, but especially when they did not have PE last year at the middle school level, except for 9 days if they came back in the spring, compared to 180 days on a normal year. Go down to
You want me Yeah, there you go.
That'd be great, because I have no idea how to do that.
That's
Thank
okay,
you,
I got you.
Mr. Brooklow.
Mhm.
A little bit about myself. I have 3 daughters. I went to high school here in San Diego. I have my bachelor's in science and secondary education and a minor in PE from the University of Southwest, which is in beautiful Hobbs, New Mexico. If you've never been there from San Diego, it's the exact opposite. Flat, windy, and not a lot to do, which was actually good for me to get away. I played college baseball there. And then about 12 years ago, I received my master's degree in school leadership from National University. I have credentials in physical education and health, but that's not supposed to say San Diego State. That one is a misdo. So in PE, bottom line, our goals are for progression. If your kids didn't come home Friday whining and complaining, that's probably a good thing. We ran our first mile, which to a lot of our kids coming from the elementary school, they think our mile is longer, which we try to tell them there isn't a longer mile. It's your elementary school mile was shorter. So when they tell us their mile time was 4:52 in the elementary school, and their first one here was 11 minutes, they kind of start understanding. So what we work on progression is how we grade students. And everything we do, from throwing and catching to lifting weights to running to being kind, and being lifelong learners in sports. We change units every 3 weeks. So for instance, we started flag football skills and drills yesterday. The previous week, we did baseline fitness testing. So our children will be doing skills and drills in flag football along with team games for the next 3 weeks, every Tuesday and Thursdays. We like changing every 3 weeks, which we've done for the last 20 some years. So the kids get a taste of different activities and sports, and hopefully they will jump on one and either play in high school or just continue a love of being active and moving in their lifestyle. Your child is not graded one bit on their athletic performance based on coming into our program. It's all about working hard, getting along with others. We had a student yesterday. She was so excited. We were just playing catch with the football. The first 3 balls thrown to her, they went off her shoulder, it went off her nose. She just moved here from Mexico, the sweetest girl. And I don't think she even knew I was looking at her. But her last pass, she had to actually reach for it and grab it and bring it up, and the smile on her face was just electric. So those are the kind of things we're looking for is in PE, is just students working together, doing their best, and progressing towards the goals we have for them. I want to go to the next slide there.
I think that's it as far as I got. Let's see.
Oh, geez.
Unless my computer froze. Yeah.
Coach Pat Node. Coach Pat.
Oh, no, there you go. There you go. It just wasn't working. There you go.
Oh, there we go. All right. So yes, students are expected to dress out appropriately in PE clothing daily. That's including shorts and a t-shirt. We highly recommend they have a set of backup clothing. We do recommend a gray shirt and black shorts. However, that is not required. I would say right now, 95% of the students do have those, either stuff brought from home or our PE uniform purchased. If they don't have their clothes on Mondays or Tuesdays, we do offer loaners, which we clean and wash after every use. After Tuesday, we do not hand out loaners Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. Those will be the days that we wash the clothing. I talked about this briefly already. A student asked me yesterday, actually it was today, are we getting graded on this? I said, you're getting graded on everything, whatever you do. As soon as you walk in the locker room, dressing, stretching, your warm-ups, being kind to others, doing your best. Missed activities due to injury, illness, or absent must be made up. Probably had 10 students absent from the mile on Friday. We will have PE makeups during zero period, which is 7:25. We call it zero period because for 7 years, there was actually a zero period PE class. Now there is not, but we take our free time and go out there and have students make up any point loss. And that's on the last Friday of every month or by appointment Wednesdays after school. Our weekly schedule looks like this. Tuesdays and Thursdays are activity days. We call them activity days or sporting days. So as I said, right now we're in flag football. So yesterday we started that. Monday was a holiday, so we didn't start weights. We will start weights in the gym, the rec center, starting off with basic dumbbell lifting for about the first month. And then I'm actually sitting in it currently. We finally have our weight room and weight equipment back from Palm Middle School, which has been Liberty Charter the last 11 years. So yeah, we will actually transition into the weight room with real machine weights in about a month to 6 weeks. And then Wednesdays, we call it Wonderful Workout Wednesdays. We do a myriad of different workouts with the kids. And then Friday's our run day. First quarter is a mile, second quarter is a mile and a quarter, third quarter is a mile and a half, and then the fourth quarter, we rotate through all runs. And there will be opportunities throughout the year where kids will get incentives to not run on a Friday. At this point, though, our kids' cardiovascular endurance is nowhere close to giving those opportunities yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. A lot of them have not done a lot of moving for myriad of reasons the last 18 months, but we're having a good time with them. Your kids are doing a fantastic job. They're here every day. They're working hard. They're dressed out. We've had minimal issues. We do realize that they did not have a solid PE program last year. A lot of students either had recess coming from 6th grade into last year with the pandemic. And we are kind of used to having, until 3 years ago, your children for all 3 years in PE. That means they had PE every day, 180 days, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So we are being patient with them, especially being 8th graders. Is that the last?
Oh, there you go.
Here is my personal information. If you need to get a hold of me. I am, by fault, the head of the PE department. So if you do have any questions regarding something in the locker room's not right, something on the blacktop's not right, PE clothes are lost, which usually means they're left on the ground and I put them in lost and found. But of course, your son or daughter, well, son, because they don't go in the girls' locker room, will tell me someone stole their PE clothes. Those are 99% in the lost and found, along with their lock. When they say, I swear I locked my locker, I usually take a picture of it so I can show them when they come back in the locker room and prove to them that they did not lock their belongings. Bottom line, we're here to teach the kids a ton of more things than just throwing, catching, and running. We do a lot more than that. And we bring the kids together in a class that most of them really love to do. And at the end, when it comes down to June, they look back in August and September, and a lot of times they go, man, you guys were really tough on us the first quarter, but thank you for doing that, because the rest of the year was really great. And I really got into better shape. And we teach them about patience. And I told them a great quote by Usain Bolt yesterday. And that quote was, Usain Bolt was a 100-meter sprinter. So his quote was, I trained 4 years for the Olympics to run 9 seconds. Some adults quit after 2 months when they don't see results. I think that's a good one for our PE program this year, that it's going to take a while to get them on the right track, get them ready for high school, mentally and physically. We're big into the mental aspect of PE too, just not the physical, that those endorphins in your brain really help you in the classroom to settle you down, to boost self-confidence, etc. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or put them in the chat. It was a pleasure meeting a lot of you, and hopefully we can be in person at some point. Thank you.
Okay, let me stop the share. Sorry a second. All right, thanks, Coach. All right, let me get back in there. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I haven't used Zoom in a little while. Okay, there we go. All right, Miss Bailey, looks like you're next.
Okay, are you sharing? Because I don't see share.
I'm
It
gonna
does. It
share,
doesn't matter because I'm gonna share for myself because I have links to click on, and instead of me
Okay,
telling you click
go
on this and move to there, I'll do the sharing. So hello, I am Miss Bailey. I was sitting there thinking, okay, if PE is the engine, then science is the soul, honey. So I'll let you be the engine, science is the soul. So we And this, and I didn't do an introductory slide, so I'll just kind of go through myself a little bit as I'm booting up. I'm trying to remember everything I learned during my Zoom time. So again, I teach science. I've been teaching, this is my 17th year. I have a couple boys. And I am also finishing up my master's in biology and biotech at Point Loma. So I'm in the research lab a lot. My students, when I tell them the stuff I'm doing, like, yeah, I cut on this brain and I got to open up this cadaver and we're taking, they're like, you're a real scientist? I'm like, yes, I actually am in there. I've done COVID research. I'm now doing HPV research. So I kind of balance them both out and hopefully get them interested in science. I grew up in Detroit. I first started teaching in Detroit. Then I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, taught there. And then finally my husband and I, he's in the Navy, moved out here. And we've been here for the last 10 something years. As far as science class, we just adopted a new curriculum. So we are looking at these goals. We want to make sure our students are identifying questions and being able to scientifically investigate those and answering them. We want them to be able to not only conduct an investigation, but design it for themselves, like not having me, and again, like Coach Keith said, it's a slow process. We're getting there, but eventually me taking off the helper way and say, okay, well, what do you think you should test? What do you think you should measure? What are you trying to look for? Also, we are looking for using technology and not just when we Google search, taking the first thing Wikipedia tells us, but looking further into researching, clicking on a couple websites, gathering data, getting the information and not taking the first thing as the holy grail for that. We also want to make sure they can not only get data, but analyze it and connect it to their lives and be able to interpret it and communicate it back to someone. And then scientific practices during laboratory exercises is extremely important. Again, just like PE, I know there's a drag time right now, but a lot of the students kind of when I tell them, okay, get up, get your triple beam balance, you got to get your graduated summit, they just kind of look at me. I'm like, no, you got to get up. Come on, let's go, let's go. And not only with getting up and getting things, learning how to walk through the lab, making sure they don't break glass, or if we're working with a scalpel today, they're holding it correctly. Or if we happen to be doing an experiment with fire, they're treating it with respect. So these are all things that we are getting to. And then of course, have fun. So we will make mistakes. That's how we learn. Science is about making mistakes and then saying, okay, what do I need to do to go back and figure that out? Or sometimes the mistakes teach us that, hey, what the old folks told us 300 years ago isn't really what it is, because this is what I found out. So that is what we are doing. As far as requirements, I want two things: pencils. In science class, we only use pencils. They make a lot of mistakes, which is good, but I tell them that you can erase it with a pencil. With the pen, I don't like to grade over a whole bunch of scribble scrabble. And if they don't have a pencil, they know I have a whole drawer of pencils sharpened, ready to go. They don't even have to bring it back to me. They can just keep it for the day. But I do that because then if I do mark them off, because I told them if I see a pen or a marker, I will take points off. And so I provide pencils so that if there is pen, I don't hear the excuse of, well, I didn't have a pencil, because they know I could provide them for them. And the Chromebooks and chargers, that has been, in the last week they've had them, I've had at least 2 or 3 students in each class like, my charger's dead, or I forgot my charger, I don't have my Chromebook. So those things are something that I need them to make sure they bring every day. And then the last thing is their science composition notebook. It's a Black one that I provided for them. Some of them decided to get their own composition book, which is fine. But this Black notebook has all their notes, all their warm-ups and anything. And this composition book is kind of like their gateway to their quizzes, because I let them do open book quizzes, and every quiz I give them is from notes out of their Black notebook, and they can use that Black notebook to take their quiz. And so it's important that they keep up with their notes, and if they don't have notes, they copy it down from me or get it from their lab partner or whatever. And then also I grade this notebook every quarter. So the first quarter is worth 25 points, and then 50 points, and then 75 points. And by the end of the year, it's worth 100 points. So this notebook can actually, if you didn't do so good in a quiz or something, it can really make the difference between your grades. So I try and tell students, keep up with it. Please let me know if you need to fill it in or whatever for that. So requirements are there. Some about homework. I really give homework probably 1 or 2 times a month. If they do have homework, it is because they didn't finish something in class, and then I tell them take it home. But when it's homework, I will tell them to it needs to be due the day that I give it to them. I don't accept late homework unless they have a note from their parent or guardian, just because I do give it so few in the month or whatever. So if it is an assignment that they have to take home to finish, that's not classified homework. So that I will accept. But if it's signified homework, I need it when it's due, or it's going to be a 0. And then, unless a parent tells me, you know, hey, we had some issues or whatever for that. Missing or late assignments, you could turn that in. I tell my students all the time, you have up to a week before the quarter or semester ends. I will take anything. Please don't say, well, I did that in August, man. She is not going to take it. I will take it, and I will give you partial credit for that. So anything, as long as you see it and it's missing in Infinite Campus, you can get that to me. Low test or quiz scores, if it's C- or lower, and they're like, man, I really want to try this again, they can retake that at school with me for a better grade. And I'll just cancel out the lower grade. And then absent students, they know they have an absent folder in my room. We've talked about it for a couple weeks. If they come back the next day, they know to go over there and look at the day they're missing. And they have as many days they were absent to turn that in. So if they were 3 days absent, then they have 3 days to turn in their work. And then if it comes back after that, it's not like I won't accept it. I'll start marking points off for that. And then contact, I went too far. Ways to contact me. And you guys will get this information provided to you, because I know it's kind of hard to write all this stuff down, but main mode, email, Class Dojo. I do have a Google Voice number. So if you've tried email and I didn't respond or whatever, this Google Voice, you can text me or send me a message, and then I can call you back from there from my cell phone, and then obviously school number. And then also I have created a website, which I will share with parents in Class Dojo once this is over. So I'm going to click on it real quick so that you can kind of see the workings. Now, I believe it's going to go under my thing. Can you guys still see the screen? Yeah. So when you get there, this is kind of what it looks like. You have these links that will take you through different things, class expectation, helpful resources. This is where I tell you to go to log into Infinite Campus. You can click on this. It'll take you to the link. It tells you how to log in. Other things like Clever and Class Dojo link is there, and some other science stuff. Return home is here. Class assignments. This is maybe a big one for parents that are like, well, where is this assignment? How do I find this assignment? And so I decided to make a class assignment page. And when you get there, you'll have September assignments here. You'll click on this link, and what you will have is your assignments for there. And it tells you how it works. If there's an assignment that says Google Classroom, it will not be in this link. You will know that the student, you can ask your student, hey, it says it's a Google Classroom assignment. Like I'll show you what we have so far. It'll say it's a Google Classroom assignment. You need to go there and do it. If there is a lab, that means that they can do it, but they need to get the data. So they, like this one is a lab one. So if I click on that, and it'll force you to make a copy for that, when you click on it, what they will see is that, and I'll go back, I clicked on it by mistake. When they click on it, what they will see is that this one here is that this is a lab we did in class, but they may, because they lost it, now they lost all this data, which they could get from their table partner or whatever like that. So this is there for parents and as well as students. If they can't find things in Infinite Campus, they can always come to the class website and say, okay, I don't have this, I don't have that, or whatever for them to do. But I will share this website link. And as far as getting in touch with me, if a parent wants to talk to me, you can go to Ways to Stay in Touch. And you have my stuff here, but you also have a Google form. So you can go through here and fill this out and tell me what your questions are, whatever, what concerns you have, submit it, and I will get that, and then I will read it that way. So you have multiple ways of getting in touch with me and sending me messages and letting me know what's going on, what you need from me. All right. And then after that, I think that is all I have. So I will exit out. And I'm going to do that now and give it to the next person. So let me get out of this. Pause sharing, stop sharing. There we go. Okay. So
All right.
Brookalo, if you want to go ahead and reshare again, so the next
All right.
person, thank
Great.
you.
Thanks, Miss Bailey. All right, sounds good. I think I'm next. All right, very good. So I'm Mr. Brookalo. I'm your student's U.S. history teacher for 8th grade. And I've been teaching, this is my 17th year as well, teaching 11 in Lemon Grove. So we're pretty excited to teach your son or daughter about U.S. history. We're going to learn a bit about what was going on before the country was founded, all the way up to the early 20th century. Our curriculum that we use is called TCI, but we'll also use some other supplementary materials. And the goal, again, is to really see the connections between our past and our present, because studying history is really as much about understanding what's going on now and where things came from and how things are the way they are now, as much as it is studying about the past. I don't have a fancy website like Ms. Bailey, so I just use Google Classroom to post things, and so we're going to use Google Classroom a lot, especially now that the kids have Chromebooks. Just like she said, have them charged every night. Make sure they're ready to go every day, because we may need them starting next week. Not every day, but we'll use them a couple times a week for sure, to access materials and to do assignments and things like that. Here's the grading. It's pretty straightforward and standard. The only difference, I guess, between myself and maybe Ms. Bailey is that I do accept late work. I don't necessarily take points off, but I don't want it too late in the quarter or too late in the grading period. So any late work can be turned in before the final week of grading, and I will take a look at that and grade that depending on how well it turned out, effort and the quality and stuff like that. I don't have very much homework planned for history class, but if the students don't finish any classwork, they may end up having homework to take home if they don't finish the work that we do in class. But most everything we do for history class should be done in class. If they're absent or anything like that, just let me know. I'll send you a message on Class Dojo, or students can ask questions on Clever. I've been answering questions on Clever as well. So anyways, those are the best ways to communicate with me. Class Dojo for parents and Clever or Google Classroom for students. I don't have a lot more, so I'm gonna stop there. So I'm gonna pass this on to Miss Gerardo, if you're ready.
Ready.
All right, I'll go back. So just click the link, right? Or do you want to do it?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead and click on that. Thank
All right,
you.
here comes our ELA teacher, Miss Gallardo.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna mute.
All right, thank you. So I guess if PE is the engine and science is the soul, then I'm going to say that ELA is the heart. And this is how we do it up here in LGAM. Go ahead and go to the next screen. I am Mrs. Gallardo, and I teach English language arts. This is my 23rd year of teaching, and I taught in the Los Angeles area as well as San Diego, but I actually grew up here in the Lemon Grove area. I'm a graduate of Mount Miguel High School. A lot of students ask me how that was, and I loved it. It was a wonderful high school. It prepared me for college. I actually got a scholarship to go to the University of Southern California. So whatever they say about Mount Miguel High School, it was a wonderful school. So I will continue to be an advocate for that, as well as Helix High School in this area, or whatever high schools your sons or daughters are planning to go to. I also have a Master of Arts degree in education from Point Loma. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm very family oriented. I have a husband, a daughter. I have a Rottweiler named Rufus. He's 2 years old. And a lot of my students and coworkers know about him from when he was a baby, just not too long ago, and lots of extended family in San Diego. What I want you guys to know about me is that I love my job. I am committed to your students and their growth, their education, not just to learn English language arts, but to be great citizens and contributing members of our society and our world. That is a huge passion of mine. So I really feel like it's a privilege to be your sons and daughters' teacher. I really feel like it's one of my highest callings. I'm gonna have, I don't know if you're able to click on those links there. Cool. Well, 8th grade ELA is a course designed to foster student growth, leadership, and achievement in the areas of reading, writing, speaking, and listening. All students will be prepared to read critically, think independently, speak confidently, and write effectively to communicate their ideas in all kinds of different contexts. This year, we're using all kinds of different curriculum. We are working through StudySync, which is an online ELA program. We also use iReady, which is a computer program that is very specific to your students' reading needs. So whatever they need, whatever level they are in reading, iReady is targeted specifically to help them grow wherever they are with their reading. We will also be using something called Echoes and Reflections. It's a digital Holocaust unit. We will also be reading 2 novels this year, and we'll be reading articles, watching videos, and all kinds of other online and print resources. And Mr. B, can you scroll down just a little bit? One of the big things for ELA is we really try to make sure that students are writing their homework in their planners every day. Unfortunately, our school has not received the planners yet, but as soon as we do, we'll make sure that families are aware that the planners should be in use. We really do want the students to write down announcements, reminders, important things that are coming up, not just in ELA, but in all of their classes. I do have a late work policy, and this is something that the other 8th grade teacher and I have come up together. We've come up with this together. So it would be the same in my class as in another 8th grade ELA class. So if students turn their work in on time, we grade it starting at 100%. After that, if it's 1 to 5 days late, they can still receive an 80%, which is a B. After 1 to 5 days, basically if it's 6 to 10 days late, students can still receive a 60%, which is a D. Again, we're trying to teach them responsibility. We want to be able to give them some grace. We want to be able to give them credit, but also there is a penalty sometimes for turning work in late. After 10 days late, which is essentially 2 weeks of school, we will still give credit, but it's 50% credit at that point. But I always tell my students, some points definitely better than no points at all. During the final week before progress reports or the final week before report cards, I don't accept any work during that week because I'm very busy putting all of that late work together and making sure that whatever I am assigning, whatever I have assigned to the students, I am giving and honoring them for the work that they've done. So during that final week before progress reports or report cards, at that point, I can't accept any more late work. So I'm quite busy making sure that final grades are perfect. Let's move on. Let's see, grades are based on a point system, based on tests, quizzes, projects, participation in class, which is a really big thing in my class. I like to say that every week, every student speaks. So we want to make sure that we are talking about what we're learning, saying what's important to us, because our voices truly matter. Grading is also based on classwork and homework. I do allow students to make up tests, but I just want them to make sure that they communicate with me. So if there is something that they want to make up, they just need to come and talk to me and we will work it out. There's some of my contact information. And let's go back to the slide before that. Thank you, Mr. B. Room 2, class expectations. I'm not going to go through everything because I did go through all of this with your students, your children, your sons and daughters many times. So we'll just kind of scroll down to the next page that has to do with promises and commitments. Now, this is pretty cool. The students actually made class presentations over the first few weeks of school, and we all voted on the kinds of things that we really thought these are the things that we aspire to. These are the ideals that we feel are very important. This is how we learn best. This is what a great student is. This is what a great teacher is. So if we are all being this way, then we can have a great year together. And this is something that the students came up with. So in room 2, which is where my classroom is, we aspire to do the following things. We aspire to be kind and respectful. We aspire to listen and seek to understand. We're seeking to understand knowledge. We are seeking to understand each other. We're seeking to understand different points of view and being respectful and kind of those different points of view. We aspire to be positive and have fun, to work hard and do our best, to be safe and responsible, to stay on task, and to follow directions. And these are all the things that your sons and daughters came up with over the first few weeks of school, and these are the things that we're holding each other accountable to. And Coach Keefe already talked about the Wolfpack way, but I just always like to try to reinforce it with my students in the classroom. Let's see, next slide. How can you check your students' progress? Well, you can check Elluminate, which is our online grading system. You're going to hear more about that in a little bit. I think it's one of the final slides of our slideshow. There is a link for you to go to the district website, and there are instructions on how you can check grades in Elluminate. You can also attend parent conferences. So at the end of September, there will be some information about parent conferences. Sorry, oh, it's Infinite Campus. I'm sorry, not Elluminate. My bad. Thank you, Miss Bailey, for reminding me. It's not Elluminate, it's Infinite Campus. I'm so sorry. It's Infinite Campus. I will change that. I'll make sure that I go back and change that. Yes, it's Infinite Campus. So parent conferences at the end of September. We will also have parent conferences in February. You can always email me, and there will be many more pieces of information at the end of our presentation for Blue House about how you can get a hold of every single teacher in the Blue House. You can also send me a message in Class Dojo. And with that being said, thank you for your time. I'm so happy that you guys are here. And I'm going to pass it on to, I believe it is Mrs. Curley with math.
It is. Hello, I'm Mrs. Curley. I am your daughter and son's math teacher. So this is my 15th year of teaching. It is my first year at Lemon Grove, and specifically Lemon Grove Academy Middle. I'm very excited for this school year to get to know your kids. I actually live in La Mesa, so very close. And I have a son, and I live with my son and my husband, and then I have another son on the way right now. And then that's just my email. If you ever have any questions, I'm always checking email all day, so feel free to please just send me one, you know, about anything, and I will quickly respond to that. Okay, so the curriculum we use is Go Math. So students already have their textbook. They will also have online access through, let's see, so they will have, sorry about that, Go Math interactive textbook and other resources through their Holt McDougall student portal. And I'm still learning about this, so as soon as I figure it out, I will let your children know. Students will also be using the iReady classroom mathematics program, just like they do in language arts. So they took their test last week, so I still have a few that need to finish up. But once we have all that, they will be required to do weekly minutes. I think I'm going to do about 45 a week, but we will talk more about that in class probably next week. Let's see. Yeah, and then those are just a couple websites I have down there for extra support. If you've never heard of the Khan Academy, it's a great website. He does these little videos, and I mean, there's just so many topics you can choose from. So I tell students if they're ever struggling, you know, with anything, need a little extra support, Khan Academy is a great website. And a couple more are mathtv.com and also the PBS Math Club. They have some videos as well. So those are all really great resources. Grading policy. So grades are based on a point system, and we have tests, quizzes, like I just talked about, the iReady. We will do projects. I do participation points weekly. They will have classwork and they will have homework. Homework is not every day, but it will be Monday through Thursday. It just kind of depends. I generally don't give homework on Friday. And the homework I give is not a lot. Usually I'd say at most it's about 5 problems. So it's not something that should take them all night. You know, they're not spending hours on homework, maybe 20 minutes. I would say max 30, but probably more towards the 20-minute range. Late work is accepted, but the highest grade they can receive is a B-. Late work, however, will not be accepted, just like some of the other teachers, the week of progress reports and report cards. So students need to be responsible and keep up with their assignments. So they need to make sure those are all turned in before that final week that grades are due. And then continuing, so late work is accepted, like I said, as long as it's turned in promptly, you know, and it needs to be turned in, you know, at a good amount of time. I would prefer them not to turn something in, you know, 3 weeks late. I will take it, of course, but we're so far past that topic that I feel it's going to be really hard for them to catch up on that assignment. So, you know, trying to, once they miss something, try and get it relatively soon afterwards, because we're going through a lot of different things in math. And then if they are absent, it is their responsibility to ask, you know, ask for the missed assignments. Come talk to me, see what they missed. And the last thing is they can retake tests and quizzes. It's going to be a before or after school situation. It is the student's responsibility to come talk to me beforehand. We'll discuss which one, you know, what they need to retake and when we're going to do it. And we'll find a time that works for both of us. And the highest grade they can get is a B-. And oh, one thing is they should, last comment is make sure that they are prepared for the retake, because there's no point to retake a test or quiz if you're going to get a worse grade. If you didn't study for it or come get help, it's not going to benefit you. So I always tell them, you know, prepare for it, come ask for help, you know, before you actually retake that test. And I think that's it. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm up. All right, I am Mr. Ordinario. I see some familiar faces in the audience there. I am one of the RSP teachers on campus. This is my 17th year in Lemon Grove School District, especially at the middle school level. So I'll be supporting students with IEPs. IEP stands for Individualized Education Plans. I'll be pushing into Miss Curley's math classes. And students with IEPs will start out the day with me in the advisory class for the first 20 minutes of the day. There's only about 25 students as far as 8th graders, so it's not everybody who's going to be kind of being monitored and checked with over the course of the year. So this is only about 10% of the actual student population. So for those 25 students or so, I'll be kind of making sure I'm monitoring progress and working on IEP math goals and checking in on just overall academic progress with the students and the teachers and making sure they're on track for 8th grade promotion. There's my contact information. So lordinario at lemongrovest.net. My extension is 2127. And move on to the next slide. I'm also available through Class Dojo for communication. If you have not accepted the invite, please go ahead and check your phone or your email and accept that invite. As far as IEP meetings, which are done annually, they'll be done through Zoom this year. And in the springtime, we have what we call high school transition meetings. We'll meet with our client schools, Mount Miguel or Helix. If they're not attending those two schools, let's say they go to Monte Vista or Grossmont, we can still set up those meetings as long as they're still in Grossmont Union. And just last but not least, just looking forward to supporting your child in finishing up their 8th grade middle school career in Lemon Grove. So again, I only work with a small population of the 8th graders and the 7th graders, but I'll do my best to support that population throughout their time with us. So thank you for your time and welcome.
Hola familias, welcome. I am Profe Diaz and I will be representing the electives. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the electives have students from each house. They have from blue, yellow, purple, and green. So I'll go ahead and give you a brief summary of each of the electives, and then I'll go ahead and give you more information about my class. So your student may or may not be in my class. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, can everybody see that? Yes, all right. I'm working on 2 screens and that always is a fail when you haven't done Zoom in a while. So yay, go me. All right. So as I said, I'm going to go ahead and give you an overview because the other elective teachers were not able to be here in this session. So let me find that. I'm having flashbacks of when I started on Zoom and I'm like, where is this? Because it's been a while since we've been on it. All right, let me close that. All right, perfect. All right, so if your student is taking art, their teacher is Miss Glaze. And the class is the beginning course that covers elements and principles of art. It's all skills are welcomed, and grading is based on effort and completion. If you haven't added, if your student has not added themselves to Google Classroom, please make sure that they do. And she is available to connect with you.
Miss Salazar, I'm sorry. We're not seeing your slide. We still see the Spanish, the Spanish one. Yes, so we don't see. Sorry.
And I'll stop sharing, and then I think I'll control it through
I think we can see it now. Yeah, we can see it now.
So Mr. Popo, if you want to share, and then I'll just go ahead and that's why I knew this always happens. It's all good. You'll just have more screen time with me. All right. So I'm the fiesta, right? Everybody was the soul. We have the soul, the heart, the steam engine, and I'm the fiesta, right? All right. So yay, we got it. Okay. So I'll just control it through the back end. All right. Or not, because mine is not on presentation mode. I think we're on a different one. It's all good. All right. So if you can connect with Ms. Glaze through Class Dojo or through email. In regards to dance, it's going to be beginning levels for this year because, as you know, it's really been a year and a half with students haven't practiced those skills. So she's going to go ahead and get started with the beginning level and then kind of build those skills up. And there will also be a dance company, which is really great. It's not a club, but students get to dance and perform. She'll go ahead and have more information. And then her grading is based on participation, on energy, effort, collaboration, focus, and class attire. And then there will be a spring showcase and more information will be coming. Please connect with her through Class Dojo or through her email. And then we have music. Mr. Ayers has 3 different classes, so I will do my best to get this information. So band, the main thing that I would like to mention is students should be practicing at least 20 minutes a day. And then the grade is based on learning the notes in music and performances. If your student has drumline, same, they will need to study or practice, at least 20 minutes a day. And then the grading is going to be based on rudimetrics and performances. And if your student is in digital music, students will learn music production, making beats, composing music, remixing beats, film scoring, and there will be a showcase during the year. So please go ahead and connect through Class Dojo or through email. And now we go through Espanol. And if you can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. I'm not able to control it from here. I think we're in different presentations. All right. So my class is an introductory course. So as I had mentioned, it's been a really hard time on Zoom. Students really haven't been in the classroom exposed to Espanol. So we're going to go ahead and start from the beginning and build those skills, build that knowledge. And then so next year, when they come back, we're going to have a intermediate course, which will be more advanced. In the class, students learn basic communication, writing, and reading skills. And the goal for Spanish is to give students the practice, building their skills. So wherever you're at, whether you're at the beginning, so we're learning basic words. If you're intermediate, we're learning a vocabulary, additional vocabulary. We're improving our grammar, our spelling, and also making connections with your culture or making connections with the Spanish culture. As students will be learning, it's one language, but it's so much more than that. It's culture, it's traditions, it's so rich And I'm just so happy and just so looking forward to actually being in class this year and just giving that passion over to the students. And then us learning about, different cultures, traditions, about history. The students love that. They want to connect. They want to know where they're coming from, where their family is from. And then hopefully this year we'll go ahead and do that. And I want them to be passionate. I wanted them to enjoy themselves. And as I talk to them in class, this is a journey. So if you don't do so well this year, it's okay. It's a process. It's not that one day you're gonna know Spanish, boom, like you're just gonna get it. It doesn't happen. It's it's a journey. And I tell them, you may be at one part of your journey, somebody will be at a different part. Never compare yourselves. Always strive to do your best and only compare yourself to where you were. And if you take a few steps back, that's okay. In that taking back steps back, you learn something. Whenever you're learning, you're going forward. And so I really do encourage them. Sometimes the concepts will be hard. Like right now, we're starting off pretty easy, but they will get hard, especially when there is no connection with their first language, which is English. Then it gets challenging. But I tell them, if you take a step back, it's okay. I'm going to be there with you. I'm going to help you. And just make sure that you are monitoring your journey, because your journey is very different than somebody else's. The materials that they will bring to class daily will be their interactive notebook for Spanish. This is key for the class. They have to bring this every single day. It will contain all the notes that they need, vocabulary, anything that they need for that day. They will be utilizing the book. So it's really their cuaderno. I call it their cuaderno. So please make sure that they have it. They also need their Chromebook. In class, I do a combination of paper and also digital. So a lot of the activities in Spanish are listening. They need to be able to hear in order to learn the language. So they really need their Chromebook because it's a way for them also to, I tell them that it's a journey. So your journey might take you a little longer than somebody else's. So a lot of the things that I do it through audio, through video, and they go ahead and they sit on the computer and they listen because I want them to take their time. Some students are able to do it pretty fast. Some students need more time. And I just want them to enjoy their journey and be proud of where they're at without having to feel like, oh, this person's going really fast and this person's going slow. It's no, where are you and where do you need me to support you? That's kind of where I see it. A binder, paper and pencils. It's okay. And then homework. So homework will consist about worksheet, verbal practice, and studying. So sometimes they'll have a worksheet that they started in class, and if they didn't finish it, they'll go ahead and finish it at home. If they finished it at home, I highly encourage for them to practice, to study, because that's the only way they're going to learn the language, to retain it. You have to practice every day, just like music. You have to practice the vocabulary in order to gain more knowledge and understanding. I do accept late work. It will be marked down to partial or half credit, depending on how late it is. And I accept it up to 1 week late, but I am flexible. I know things happen, life happens. So whenever students or you connect with me through Class Dojo and you let me know, hey, this is what's going on. It's just letting me know helps so much, because then I know, hey, they need more time, or I can modify the assignment, or, how can I support you? And it's just really important for me to know. For makeup work, they have the days that they were absent to make it up. But of course, I understand if a student has been out a whole week, they're not just making up my work, they're making up work for other classes. So once again, I'm flexible. If a student needs more time, I'm willing to go ahead and do that. I just don't want it to be where we're coming back 2 months later and they're turning in the work, because then they've lost that part of their journey, that reward and those concepts, they've kind of lost that. And I want them to keep going and progressing. And part of that is making sure that the work is turned in on time. But like I said, I am flexible. I understand things happen. And I also told my students, talk to me. If you let me know, I will work with you and I'll find a way to best support you. For quizzes, students are able to retake it. The highest they'll be able to earn will be a B+. And then generally you're looking like anything below a C- for a retake. And then they would just schedule the retake with me. In regards to tests, there are no retakes because they're able to use notes. So the composition book or the interactive notebook that we have in class, they're able to utilize that for their tests. For their quizzes, I want to know this is per unit. Every about 2 weeks, they'll have a quiz so I can gauge where they're at, if we need more practice, if we're okay to move on, or who needs more support. So they're able to retake that because there is no notes, no notebook. And I know sometimes, like I said, life happens. I totally understand. Like you just didn't prepare. Maybe you had a big essay due in history and you left it to the last minute and you're like, oh, Espanol, what? A quiz today? So I understand. So they can retake it. And as mentioned before, please make sure that the student is prepared for the retake. We always want to go forward, not go back on that score. And then, oh, great. So usually I update grades once a week on Infinite Campus. So if you go to Infinite Campus, you will see the grades updated up through what we had last week. I'm currently waiting on updating this work for this week, but anything that they have turned in from the beginning all through last week should be in there so you can gauge where your student is. I do send bi-weekly progress reports. So please expect that about every 2 weeks, sometimes 3, depending on where we are. So that depending on grading or what assignment I want them to turn in. So you can see whether it's been turned in or not. Then, but keep an eye on that for every about 2 weeks or so that I do send a progress report, but that's specifically for my class, just my assignments. And then if you click on the link, it will take you to the parent portal. It gives you the instructions on how to set up your account on Infinite Campus, and it's the school website, but we can always drop it in the chat box. If you are new to our school, if you're new to Infinite Campus, this will go ahead and give you step-by-step on how to set up your account. And then also you can download the Infinite Campus app on your phone and the Class Dojo so you can receive the messages on your phone. All right, so the interactive notebook. This is what students need to bring, and you probably should see this cover. You should recognize it. Your students should have this if they're taking Espanol. They should bring it to class every day. It really helps with learning because it has their notes, it has homework, it also has interactive activities that we do so that they are practicing the concepts that we're learning. The table of content, which they have to upkeep every week or 2 weeks, is available in Google Classroom so that if your student is behind, they can always go to the table of content, update it, and then that will let them know where they need to glue in items. For my notebook, it's very specific. Certain pages go, certain assignments or notes go on specific pages. So when the student is looking for it or I'm looking, I can know, hey, we talked about the alphabet, it's on page 8. Open up your cuaderno to page 8 and let's go through that. And then also I have a digital notebook, and if you can play, oh, okay, so I was supposed to be doing this presentation. So in the video, you would be able to see the different activities. So they have different listening activities. They're matching, they're moving things around. It's a different way to practice the language. And the notebook has their notes, and the digital notebook gives them the ability to practice, to listen, to say the words in a different way than paper would. And then they have this is what they should be working on for this week and also next week, but it will be a different topic. So every about 2 weeks or so, sometimes 3, depending on the length of the unit, students will get a new unit. But this week we're starting off with the alphabet, then we're gonna go to the numbers, and Spanish is progressive. We do go slow so the students can build a foundation. And then there is more, Mr. Broccolo. I don't know if you're able to get to it. But it's really important for students to do the interactive notebook. That is in Google Classroom. It's it's another component of their learning. So if they have activities that week in their interactive notebook on paper, they won't have digital, but if they have their digital notebook, then they will be accessing it through Google Classroom. And how can you help your student at home with Espanol? The first thing is look through their interactive notebook. And also through their binder. If they have stamps on it, it means they're getting credit. If you notice that there are no stamps in their work, it means that they're not turning it in or there is no credit. You can also watch YouTube videos so that you can kind of get familiarized with the content and help the student, with the basic things. I know sometimes the other content, as when we move forward, might be a little bit challenging, but now you can kind of join in with the fun and learn the alphabet, learn the numbers, learn the days, the months. We'll be spending quite a bit of time this first quarter on that. So you can go ahead and watch those. Those are pretty easy, and then just have fun with your student. You can purchase a whiteboard or just put a white piece of paper in a sheet protector, and then you can kind of quiz your student. You can ask them what the word is and they spell it out. You don't necessarily need to know how to say the word, but you can work on spelling, and that's something that is really important. Play games. So there's 2 games that you can do. So you can have just like index cards or paper, cut them up in little cards, and you put one word in English and the other word in Spanish, and you can play 2 games. You can play memory, where you put all the cards down and you have to match the English and the Spanish. Or you can also play Go Fish, where you're asking for the match. And this is really great because maybe you don't know how to pronounce the word, but maybe your student or you're both going to learn how to say the word. And it's just really fun. It's a way to bring Spanish, bring school into your home in a fun way and support your student at home with language learning. And you can go ahead and contact me through email. The best is Class Dojo. If you haven't connected with Class Dojo, please do so. I do send the agenda every week. So I let you know what the focus is, exactly what are the assignments. And if a student loses an assignment, there are a lot of copies in my classroom. There's a crate, a homework crate. If they lose it, they misplace it, or it gets damaged, they don't need to come to me. They can just go to the crate, pick up one, and replace it. If you need a digital copy, you're more than welcome to reach out to me by email or Class Dojo, and I can always make that. I can send you the digital copy. But like I said, there are always copies available of all the assignments, of all the notes, everything that the student needs will always be of extra copies in the classroom if they're absent or they lost it or anything else. Thank you. Gracias por su tiempo. Thank you for your time.
Wow, I work for some rad people. Nice job, everybody.
Yes, awesome.
Fantastic. So this is the time. I believe that's everybody. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the time that's now designated for parent questions. If you feel comfortable putting those into the chat, go for it. If you'd like to raise your little magical hand in the box, we could call on you if that works best for you.